Hi, hello. Been a long time. How are you?
I don't want to see this. Trust me.
I hope your parents weren't mad that I was late. I wish I could teleport like in Jumper. Hey, why don't I tell you that story?
Hey, Jumper. You want to laugh about it? Go ahead. Have a laugh.
So we meet this kid David, who's got a crush on this girl Millie.
Why didn't you say something, huh?
He finds out that she likes the idea of travel, so he gets her a broken snow globe, and her friends look at him like he just gave her a dead possum.
Something make the other girls go, ooh, that's nice.
And then the school bully throws it into the frozen river because that's what bullies do.
Didn't you figure that out yet?
David stupidly walks out onto the ice to get it, and the ice breaks, making him fall into the river with the strongest current ever.
Why, is he in some kind of trouble or something?
Millie tries to save him, but I'm not sure what her plan was other than just screaming his name.
I'm sorry.
He somehow magically ends up in the library, and everyone there just lets the soaking wet child walk out into the Michigan winter.
I'm freezing.
He comes home to have his dad see that he's still drenched, but he seems more concerned with him cleaning the floor than why he's wet.
He may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy.
He runs upstairs and locks himself in his bedroom, but when his dad tries to break down the door, he teleports back to the library.
Been there.
He figures out that he has a new power, and then decides to run away from home, but not before he drops off the snow globe to Millie.
Where did you come from?
He wants to learn how to use his power in secret, so he goes to Central Park in New York City to try it.
Come on, Rice Ball, don't be stupid!
He also goes to the Empire State Building, which is where he has a picture of him and his mom that was mysteriously taken from outside the rails. He then decides he's going to rob a bank, and then gets a penthouse downtown.
Real subtle.
So a few years go by, and we see that he uses his power so much that he doesn't even walk to the kitchen. You'd think he'd be fatter.
He's still skinny.
He goes to London where he sees a pretty girl looking at him, and apparently British girls will go home with the guy that can get to them the fastest.
Relax.
Ladies, may I have the honor of taking you to dinner?
Or maybe she was impressed by him ordering her a drink with the liquor that they lock up at CVS.
Tank ready in time.
You live in London?
And then he hops around for a bit, like having lunch on the Sphinx, where apparently none of the tourists see him.
Weren't you just up there staring at me for the past 45 minutes?
In this jungle, another jumper gets caught by this guy Roland, who stabs him because
Only God should have the power to be all places at all times.
But he's not two places at once, right?
no, he just gets to other places faster than everyone. But try explaining that to a religious nutjob.
Hang on, that's not possible.
David goes home to find Roland in his apartment, where he tells him that he knows he robbed some banks, and then shocks the crap out of him.
Rice ball goes down!
He manages to grab a bunch of money and goes back to his dad's house.
Home sweet home.
So while he's home, he figures he'll go see Millie because Roland just found a picture of her and the story needs to keep moving.
Who is this?
He goes to her house, where her mom doesn't seem to remember her,
Millie.
and then goes to the bar she works at. He gets a huge table to himself during a game, and then chickens out talking to her.
Heart of a lion, this one.
Mark, the bully, sees him and is really happy to see him, but not in a, oh thank God you're alive kind of way, more of a, hey buddy, I haven't seen you since graduation kind of way. He yells out his name a bunch of times, and now Millie can leave the bar after his identity is confirmed.
What the hell are you doing here?
Mark grabs Millie's butt, and David hits him, and then teleports him into a bank vault and leaves him there. And now Roland has someone he can question about David's personal life.
He's the smelly kid in class?
Back at the bar, we see that this guy that saw him in London has followed him, but not to Fiji and not to New York, but to Ann Arbor, Michigan.
We skip this boring stuff.
David then asks Millie, whose dream was to travel but never went anywhere, to go to Rome with him.
Don't you need a passport to go out of the country?
She's only a few hours from Canada, so she probably has at least been there. But wait, you didn't need a passport to go there until 2009, and this story takes place in 2008. So yeah, she probably didn't have a passport. But we'll overlook that, so she can go to Italy with the guy she barely knows, where they both need to use their IDs to board this plane. And since they did this, Roland knows where they are now.
Where you going, huh?
She questions his job in banking because he was bad at algebra, but that's not the kind of math you use in banking. He promises never to lie to her.
I'm not lying to you.
And because he does this, she decides to pay for her part of the trip.
No weird stuff?
No, see, we just want to go inside there.
Can't go down there, it's off limits.
How can a college bartender afford that?
Oh, they have their ways.
I said no weird stuff.
Look, I'm sorry. I know I wasn't supposed to be back there, okay?
Anyway, they finally go out sightseeing, and we see that the guy who bar hops around the world also enjoys rooftops, and is able to hear their whispers from up there too.
Well, yeah, there is that as well.
They go to the Coliseum, where it's closed, but he breaks in after being a typical American tourist.
You know, she came all this way to go inside.
Hey, come on.
He tries to get into a restricted area, but bumps into the drunk stalker guy peeing.
Still managed to shake it a little up.
He shows him that he has this power too, and says that the guys coming down the hallway to get David don't notice him.
What are you looking at?
And Millie doesn't hear any of this conversation through this crappy door.
What?
The Paladins, who are conveniently all wearing the same clothes, attack them, and they manage to take them out, but a tour guide sees them, so now this dude gets scared and goes home. David is able to follow him through his portal, which stays open long enough for someone to go in, and this dude is not happy about it.
Look, I'm sorry, but I don't play well with others.
David jumps back, and then he gets arrested.
Why didn't she get arrested?
Well, he told the cops that they're not together, but then immediately tells her in front of them to go to the hotel.
No, we're not together.
I'm with him.
I don't know her.
Okay, come
Millie, go back to the hotel.
And then he tells the cops that he won't talk to him until he talks to Millie.
I want to see Millie.
His mom shows up and gives him the handcuff keys and runs away.
And if she could run away, so could I.
He then assaults a cop and teleports him on top of the Sphinx. He goes back to the lobby, where he totally plays it cool with Millie.
Why are we running?
She waits until they get to the airport to ask him what's going on, at which point he ditches her.
No, David, I'm not okay. I got left in an airport in Rome.
Roland goes to see his dad, who opens a beer with a knife in front of a law enforcement agent in his kitchen. He sees a picture of his mom and gets really weird.
I'm impressed.
David goes to see that guy in his cave, where he tells him that Paladins are a religious cult that kill jumpers and anyone who knows them because Jesus told him or something. Knowing this, he goes home to find his dad on the floor.
Roland killed him?
Maybe. There's a bunch of beer bottles by his body, so he could just be drunk.
Hell yes.
But David teleports him to the hospital, and he must have jumped harder this time because he breaks everything.
Guess I don't know my own strength.
He goes to see Mark, who's still in jail for some reason, and finds out that he told Roland everything he knew about David.
Don't you want to grab a beer with an old buddy from high school?
He goes to get help from whatever his name is, and he blows him off.
Find a rock, crawl under it, stay there.
And when he realizes that David won't leave him alone, he tries to run him over with a stolen car.
I'm not buying it.
He tells him that it's possible to jump stuff with you if you try hard enough.
If it moves, I can jump it.
Stay the hell away from me!
They get to the airport, where Millie's flight landed an hour ago, so David goes to see if she's at work, knowing full well she would still be on vacation until they were supposed to come back.
What are you talking about?
But apparently Roland thought the same thing. David goes to her apartment, where he tries to explain to her the very information that they will kill her for knowing, and then he decides to tell her in a way that will scare the shit out of her.
Millie, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Roland and the Paladins are on their way up, so he takes her to the cave.
It's called a lamp.
Roland uses some of his hair spray paint to find the jump scar, and they use this box to keep the portal open. And it also causes some storms, I guess.
You know what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning?
Shut up.
Roland gets to the cave and sees that that guy likes to draw him. And David sees that he wants to kill his mom, too.
Oh, I thought I meant bullshit.
Roland catches him and pulls out his special jumper killing knife. But then What's-His-Nuts hits him with a flamethrower. He then goes and gets a bus to run Roland over with, but it doesn't drive too well in sand.
Nothing, I was, thinking about going bowling.
And then they go back to Millie's apartment to continue the fight.
Is that what you think's gonna happen?
Millie cuts David down and wants him to take her home back to where they're fighting. But Roland pulls her back first.
I got you now.
Instead of talking about a plan, they fight all over the world to decide whether to blow up Millie's apartment or not. They even go to a war zone, where they don't jump from the bullets.
Look, they're smart.
He jumps, I guess his name's Griffin, into an electrical pole, and then goes to Millie's to save her, where he almost gets hit by a car. He then goes into her apartment, where he's immediately caught. And since Millie forgives him, he's now able to jump her whole apartment into the river, while he's being electrocuted.
Kinda hard to jump with 1,000 volts of electricity passing through your brain, huh?
He then jumps into the library, and then he jumps Roland into a cave, where he's like, you wascally wabbit. He then goes to see his mom, where his half-sister looks at him like he just let the biggest fart out in front of her.
So he told her she's his sister?
No, see, that would actually explain the fart face, but he just asked if Mary was home and got this look. And then his mom comes out, where she apparently still wears her Paladen stuff at home, and she says that she's gonna kill him, but she loves him.
Ditch the girl. If she's with you, she's dead.
Mom!
And I guess he was expecting a short reunion because he just left Millie out in the snow.
Why does she like him again?
You're gonna go travel the world. Where do you wanna go?
Can we please go someplace warm? First class.
Shut up. He got her a snow globe when they were kids. You never forget your first snow globe.
Thank you very much. Next showing will be at 6 o'clock.
What did you do to me?
You were gonna leave with that?
Subscribing?
I don't have to ask. That's a courtesy.
Joy Woo, brother. It's goodbye in Chinese.
So if you'd like to kindly fuck off.
Let's get the hell out of here.